I'm going to start with a short prayer for all the
Thank you.
folks in New York City. And there are other places in the world that are being inundated with floods and so forth. So close your eyes and get yourself settled. Divine Creator, in all your guises and all your names and all your aspects, we thank you for your presence and your love for all of us and your nurturing and your caring. We ask you to extend your grace and succor to all those people in New York City who have been inundated with the floods. Please help them to be safe and to recover from the damage done by that. And please continue to send succor and help to the folks in the Morocco area after that earthquake, and anywhere else in the world where people are suffering from natural disasters. We ask this in the name of all love. And in Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
Amen.
Thanks, Sally.
Welcome. Morning, Carrie.
Hi, Carrie.
Morning.
Okay, today I asked that we do a Reiki share, and Shirley is still ill. So if we could beam energy, healing energy to her as well. I know we all know how to do that. So I just need to know who chooses to be the beamer and who chooses to be the receiver today. I know Sally knows Reiki. Laura knows Reiki. Anybody else want to be? Okay. So the rest of you will receive. That's good. Okay. So basically, I'm going to do a little meditation, a little grounding meditation first. It's a very simple one. So if everyone would just close your eyes, get in a comfortable spot, and see yourself in a huge clear crystal egg that goes 3 feet around your entire body. And fill that egg with first blue light. And when you've gotten that completely full, add a little gold light on top. And see the light as you inhale. Inhale the blue light and the gold light and let it go through all of your chakras. See it go through your body. And when you exhale, exhale any dark spots that you see as you're being swirled by this beautiful light. Take another breath and inhale the blue and gold again. And send it through your head, down through your neck. See it kind of oozing down your arms and going out your fingers. Bring it through your chest, your abdomen, and down your legs and out your feet. And one more breath just to cleanse. And then see a cord starting from your root chakra, your first chakra. And it goes through the floor, goes through the ground, goes through the center of the earth. And in the center of the earth, there is one special crystal just there for you. I want you to see your cord wrapped around that crystal so that you will stay grounded throughout the Reiki practice. Okay, those of you who are going to give Reiki, do your preparation. Everybody else, just enjoy the energy. Just relax and concentrate on your breathing. Doesn't matter whether you feel the energy or not. It's coming. Come back in your own time. Take a few deep breaths to get yourself centered again. When you're ready, open your eyes and everybody back.
Yep.
Okay. Something unique happened to me That's never happened when I gave Reiki before, which is very interesting. So I'd like to share first, if I may. Immediately, Kevin, the right side of your head behind your right ear, screamed, "Get over here. I need you." So I gave a lot of energy in that area and then traveled to your occiput, which is the back of your head. And I saw an increase of light in that area. Nikki, your third eye burst open with this amazing purple light that headed right straight down to your heart chakra and then cleared all your chakras quickly. Carrie, your crown chakra was sort of blocked, and so it called for assistance. After a few seconds, what happened was it popped open, and this beautiful golden white light came rushing through all of you. And again, your chakras are completely cleared. Laura, your energy met mine in the middle and went like a sunburst over the entire meeting. Sally, yours and mine met, and I think because of our outside here relationship, all I felt was the energy go down both of our arms and into our heart, and our heart chakras met, which doesn't surprise me at all. B, your energy and mine met, and it, how do I put this? It twined around each other like a beautiful flowering vine, and it went all through everybody. Dolly, are you there?
Yes.
Okay. Your heart chakra called for some assistance, as well as your third chakra, which is your sense of control or your self-will. That was able to open up so that things could flow, because there was kind of some gunk in there, which I had to pull out, and that's a real technical name, but it's what I call it, gunk. So I pulled some strands out, and now it is clear. Bobby, your third chakra and second chakra were confused and blocked. And so I just, again, pulled some gunk out of you, and it's opened up, but I see some inflammation in that area, and I can't quite figure out what it is, if it's an infection or just it's inflamed. But you might want to be conscious of things to do with bowel and bladder and stuff like that. Charlie, your heart chakra just asked for some help and some energy. And so I gave a lot of energy to that particular area. And Shirley, I sent to her throat and her head, her brain, because whenever she gets sick, she gets a little more confused, which is normal for somebody over 65. So that's what I got. Like I said, that's never happened before. It was like a miracle. It was wonderful. So if anybody would like to share.
I didn't know she knew you were here. You want to share with her?
Paula, when
Yeah.
you talked about Kevin's ear, I saw an ear during that, but I thought it was related to Nikki. I'm wondering, do you have anything with your ears, Nikki?
The only thing I'm suspecting is that there could be some beginnings of hearing loss. So maybe.
Yeah, just really strong, like, yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
Did you pick up on anything on anybody else, B?
Like I knew something about Carrie And so I sent some specific healing energy towards something I knew, you know, for her. And I sent it, you know, to everyone. Here at different times was a focus, you know, at different times, including you.
Thank you.
Yeah. But I also I had an experience a long time ago. I used to do a lot of toning of chakras and reading them while I did that. And I got some information I didn't want to know about. And so I, at that point, said, okay, from now on, I don't need to know what I don't need to know. Please just give me what I need to know, that I need to work with, and we can leave the rest.
Yeah, sometimes we can get too much information.
Yeah.
Laura, what did you get?
I just basically surrounded everybody with divine white light and filled their chakras with light and love. Just overall, really, I concentrated on each one of all of us, but also on Shirley and also on other people in my life that I know need it. As long as I was given it, why not? And yeah, it was a beautiful experience.
Thank you. Sally, did you get any messages or feelings?
I just experienced a steady flow of energy. And I was able to visualize very clearly the blue and gold light in the egg. And as I was extending Reiki, I sent a lot of it to Shirley and to everyone else, and also to my husband and a few other people that I know are in need of healing. And it was just a really nice, gentle, steady flow.
Mm.
Like I usually get, only this time I really could feel it. I just stood back and stepped out of the way and said, okay, go for it, you know? So
Great.
that I didn't get any really specifics because I was asking for general, just, you know, general healing.
Yeah.
So,
Beautiful. Thank you all for that.
yeah.
Anybody have any comments about, did they feel anything? Did they experience anything?
My crown chakra was fountaining, you know, it was just kind of bursting.
Your third eye was amazing. The deep purple that came flying out of that when it finally just opened, it just like splash.
Wow.
Do the Kevin and Carrie and Bobby and Charlie and Dolly, do you guys know about chakras? I mean, are you familiar with chakras?
I don't.
Speak louder.
I don't, but I'm learning about them, the chakras.
Want to
You
give her a
relate
quick
to
one?
what she was saying?
I am curious of the junk that she got rid of in me.
It's what it shows up for me is like black strands, sticky black strands, which means that there is some trauma, injury, illness that has been in that area that needed to be removed because it was clogging the chakra. And
Very
it's a
much.
Reiki master, from what I've been taught, it's a Reiki master's job to literally pull that out. And it's like pulling big strings of rubber out. Does that mean anything to you? Do you
Does it mean
feel any
anything?
different?
Yeah, it does.
Okay. What you need to watch for, because this energy is particularly, says I use Kundalini. Kundalini will last for up to 2 weeks on a person. So you need to keep a journal if you don't already, and note any changes in that particular area or your attitude toward that particular area and what the chakras mean. and see if you have anything that, it's not usually a monumental change, but there's usually like a change in attitude that comes with clearing out a chakra. Because, does that make sense to everybody?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So you might want to just kind of keep an eyeball on that and see what
Yeah.
it does through the week. See if you relate to people or issues differently, because that is now open and clear to do its job. Because if it's blocked, if your chakra is blocked, it cannot do its job, and then it sort of clogs the rest of the chakras below it.
Sure.
And the chakras are nothing more than an energy center, and we don't want our energy centers blocked,
Sure.
because that causes disease.
And you had surgery down there before?
Yeah.
Yeah, she had surgery before in that area.
Oh, thank you for
Bobby
sharing
had
that.
surgery in the area you were talking about.
Okay, so that's what I was feeling. Thank you for allowing him to share that. So the surgery left either psychological scars or physiological scars, which are called adhesions. And so sometimes we can affect the adhesions, and sometimes we just can affect the energy of them. So Dolly, if you had pain from that particular surgery that you still have, you might see that disappearing slowly as the week goes by, because your energy is freeing itself up. And like I said, this will work for a couple of weeks. And if you'd like, you can call me and I can give you a more concentrated, because 20 minutes isn't much, but for Kundalini Reiki, technically I can give a full treatment in 5 minutes if I have to. When I taught CMAs, I used to go through the corridors getting rid of headaches. But Kundalini is one of the most powerful forms of Reiki, although there's a lot more, like the Lightarian, that many of us learned. So it just depends on what you need, but watch it at least for this week. And if you choose to, you can give me an update. Well, I won't be here next
Love
Sunday.
to.
Yeah,
I would
so
love
keep
to.
keep track.
I will. I
Thank
will.
you. Thank you for sharing, both of you. Thank you, Bobby, for so, and again, that validates what I saw and felt, which is important for anybody who does any kind of energy work.
I wanted to
So
offer.
Paula,
Yes.
okay.
Go ahead.
I just felt was confirmation, big time confirmation, that why Arnold picked you to be the leader.
Thank you.
He knew that you had this energy and this ability, and how important that was for the ministry. So thank you for playing your part.
Thank you, Charlie. I'm honored.
I wanted to offer something to Dolly if she's interested. Thanks, Charlie. Hey, Dolly.
Hi.
I don't know if you have ever worked with any like toning, which is like chanting there's like associated with yoga, there's like the Bijou seed sound mantras.
Okay. No, I have never experienced
If you're
that.
in, I'm totally interested, if you're up for it, to do a one-on-one where I teach you the sounds so you can work on like self-healing and opening up your energy center yourself.
I would love that.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
Okay. I have your email. I'll email you.
Okay. I should just give you my phone number.
Sure. Yeah, we could even do it over the phone. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And don't do it right now because it's recorded and
Okay.
it's going to be on.
Okay.
But
Okay.
I will get it from you. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Great. So the healing goes on.
Well, just to let you know, my ears are predominantly artificial. I was born with Spock ears, and the right ear was the one that required the most work. And also, while you were talking, I was feeling in the back of my head, right behind the ears, something. I didn't know what it was. And the cerebellum is very severely damaged from the encephalopathy I had years ago. So it's interesting that you're concentrating on those parts.
And that's what called to me immediately. So again, as I explained to Dolly, for the next 2 weeks, you're going to still feel some healing going on in that area. I don't know how much because I don't have control. And again, your body will only take what it knows it can deal with. So, you might want to be conscious of what's going on with that right side.
Okay. There's so much odd going on, and it would be nice to have something pleasant stick out.
Oh, you're a piece of work, Kevin. You're a piece of work. But a
Kevin,
wonderful piece of work.
Kevin, did
Go
I
ahead.
hear you right? You said you were born with Spock ears?
Yes, yeah. I had no curve at the top, no earlobe, just more or less a cartilage outline of what the ear would have been, except they went up and formed a point. And so I had plastic surgery done when I was 10.
And now there are people getting plastic surgery to have ears like that.
I know.
Yeah.
If I'd have known then, I could have been a hit at Star Trek
There you
convention.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We won some prizes for authenticity.
Yeah.
It also makes me feel like you were marked with like magic, you know?
Well, I guess so. Yeah.
Superpowers.
Yeah. Like a sign that you had special gifts, I think, when something like that comes across. And I think that we've, as a culture, lost our ability to see those things and understand them as such, you know? Like whether it's gender fluidity, you know, that's another mark of bearing gifts and yeah. Your ears look, but they would have been cute pointed too.
Pardon me? I didn't hear what you said. Sorry.
Oh, I said your ears look great, but they would have been cute pointed too.
Oh, yeah. But you know what's the odd thing? I didn't grow up knowing my birth father. I knew him as my stepfather. But when I look at photographs, I inherited his ears. And I never made that connection all those years because I never looked at his ears. But I saw them in the photograph for once and I went, wow. I could have known years ago. So I guess he was special too.
Yes.
There you go.
Carrie, do you have anything to add?
No, this is a new experience for me. So I was just curious.
Did you feel anything at all?
Warm, which is good, especially with I had a hard run yesterday, so that is always good.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, your knees. How are your knees, Carrie?
They're okay. They're 54 years old and running.
Yeah. Your knees came up for me.
Yeah.
I was wanting a little bit more attention.
They're better than they were a few years ago. Actually, the running it's helped, but yes, they're definitely their age.
Yeah, we can't escape that.
Oh.
Any other insights?
I had a little difficulty connecting to the crystal in the center of the earth because in my meditations, usually there's a ball of fire in the center of the earth for me.
Oh,
And so I had to go through a transformation to get to a crystal, and finally I got to a purple crystal, and that I could relate to.
but what does a purple crystal mean to you?
Well, purple's been a significant color for me. It's for me, it's a color of spirituality. It's the color of Saint Germain, which is an integral part of our teaching, our Madonna interfaith community. And it's also the Archangel Raphael, who's the healing angel. So that's what purple means to me. It's a healing energy, and it's a high spiritual energy.
Cool. Thank you. Anybody else have a colored crystal that they connected with? No?
Mine was clear, and I was a little surprised at how quickly and how effortlessly I connected with it. That was new for me.
What was new for me was sending Reiki to a multitude of people. So I think I went to what I kind of know and like focused on like one person at a time for the most part. And then there was one point where I was also sending it with the intention of some of it to be stored in this recording so that if people watch it later, they might get a gentle bit of that to come through, which is an interesting thought. I have worked with stones where I've like loaded them up with that energy to be used later by other people. Yeah, so that's one of the things that I did.
That's a great intention. Thank you. I think the energy.
Well, Paula, what I'd like to add is what I understand about healing energy. There is no time or space limitations at all.
Right.
And there was a wonderful study done last century. One of the most prominent healers was Olga Worrell. And you can find some books written by her and about her. She was welcome into many universities to perform scientific experiments, and one that I recall is that she lived somewhere in the Northeast, like Minnesota, somewhere up in that area. And she was to give Reiki or healing energy. They had two flats of identical plants, somewhere like in the South somewhere. I don't remember what state. And she would send healing energy just to one of the flats and not to the other. And sure enough, the ones she sent the energy to would flourish. They would grow healthier, quicker, larger, that type of thing. So that documented the power of healing energy. And in her home, of course, her plants were always winning contests because they picked up her energy and they were brilliant. And her husband was also involved in energy healing. And he worked in aerospace, but they both donated their healing energy time. And he made his money in aerospace, and they were happy to give free healing. And they helped a lot of people over the years.
Thank you.
I had I had a Reiki master who had a heart issue, and she went into the hospital in Hartford for a valve replacement, and they ended up having to remove her heart and put her on a machine. And her heart was hooked up to these different machines, and so was she. And all of us who had taken classes from her, she taught for the hospice volunteers. We all took turns going in there and doing Reiki on her and her heart. And when it was like maybe 2 or 3 weeks later, they decided to put the heart back in and see if it would function. And it did. And her doctor told her, honest to God, her doctor told her there was a golden glow around your heart. And whatever your friends were doing, tell them to keep doing it because it worked.
Mm-hmm.
That was from a doctor.
Oh, I got one last comment here that when I visited Arnold Michael one time, in his latter years, he was an invalid and he was in bed. So I was at his bedside. And so I did equivalent to Reiki healing, and I could feel the energy flow to Arnold. And then I felt it flow back. He sent it back to me. I loved it.
Well, I think, we all have the energy. We're all made of energy. And Reiki, getting the attunements from the different types of Reiki or whatever kind of healing you learn to do, it just opens those abilities. It opens the chakras, it lets the energy flow, so that you can send it anywhere. And when I first heard about Reiki and heard you could send energy across the country, I went, yeah, right. Typical nurse doesn't believe this nonsense. But when I started feeling the Reiki energy from my Reiki masters, it almost knocked me over. And I became a believer quickly. And again, the prayers we send, it's no different. It's energy. And they can be sent anywhere. So I think, that is one of the reasons Arnold decided to found this ministry. And we all have it, whether you've been trained as a Reiki master or not. The energy you send out, as long as you send it with love, it will go where it needs to be and do good. I don't really think we can do bad with this type of energy. Some people claim that they've been injured by Reiki. I think they were injured to begin with, and it might have stirred things up a little bit because the Reiki master didn't find the gunk, or because the person blocked them from being able to find it. And a person can do that. I've had several clients that blocked my energy because they were terrified that it would do something. It's like, I don't know what they thought I was going to do, but there are people who can block your energy. And again, somebody who's extremely negative, their negativity is going to block your energy. I walked into a store once looking for a place to do my Reiki, and as soon as I mentioned the word Reiki to the person who was a Jehovah's Witness, I felt a wall, literally bounced off a wall of negative energy. And she started screaming at me. And I finally just said, excuse me, I gotta leave this because this is way too much. And I couldn't even go by her shop after that without feeling the negativity.
I want to
So-
identify it's really fear that you're feeling. Like let's negativity can be such a wide thing,
Right.
but like you really were blocked by fear from that
Mhm.
person. Yeah.
And when I teach Reiki, I always say the most important thing about doing Reiki is your intention. It's all about your
Mhm.
intention. If you intend to help that person, you will.
Right.
That's how I feel about it. But I wanted to tell a funny story too about Reiki. Martha, most of you know Martha. She always
Yeah.
used to say it works on inanimate objects too, and she used to do it on her car all the time to make sure it would get her to work. And so one time when I was at work, I was trying to make 25 copies in the copy room, and it would get to about 3 or 4 and it would jam. And I mean, this happened like 3 times in a row. And I'm like, all right, I shut the door so nobody would see me. I put my hands on the machine and I sent Reiki to the machine. And I swear to God, 25 copies just like that.
It does. Yeah.
Who
It does.
knows?
I had a friend who's had a gas line problem, and she would give her car Reiki every day, and it would work. And then one day it didn't work, and she couldn't figure out why, but she had forgotten to put gas in the car.
Oops.
That would help.
Yeah. Um, Another friend, a Reiki master, had open heart surgery, like your friend did, and her friends had come in the day before her surgery, like there were like 20 of them, and they were gathered around her bed, and they gave her all kinds of energy. And while she was in surgery, they were sending her, and her doctor was in shock when she finally started healing. He said, I never believed in what, because she had always told her doctor that she was an energy worker. And he said, I always thought that was a bunch of hooey. He said, but when I opened your chest up, all I saw was everything in there was surrounded by beautiful white light, and we could all feel that energy from your friends. And he said, I want to learn. And she taught him how to do Reiki. So even the most cynical medical people can be changed by that energy. But he was just blown away. He said, my entire team will tell you all. He said, all of a sudden the whole room was white light, but it was concentrated around your heart. He said, I'm a believer. And he actually, to this day, I think he's still practicing, insists that every one of his patients has Reiki before and after surgery. And he has very little difficulty with his open heart surgery. So, we are conquering them one by one.
When I was in college, I went to Kent State and there was a study that was done. While I was there, a bunch of us got together. One of the students had broken his leg, compound breaks in this one leg. It was really pretty bad. And so a bunch of us got together and they had one of those. It was this was like in the late 60s, early 70s, like I think it was 1969. And somebody had one of the earliest Kirlian photography cameras that you can, photograph energy patterns, energy signatures. And a bunch of us surrounded the person with the broken leg. And rather than all of us laying our hands on the patient, we put our hand on the shoulder of the person to our right. And the person who started the circle, that person laid hands on the broken area of the leg. And we all concentrated on sending healing energy from the universe to that area. And they photographed the colors changing as the energy got to that section. It was pretty remarkable.
Wow.
So I've known about this since the late 60s.
Wow.
And, yeah, it's real
That's cool.
stuff. I know it's there. I know it works.
I put a visualization of how energy runs through us as healers. This is from the pranic healing training that I went through, but basically you take the divinity in through your crown chakra, you fill up your egg or your aura, and then send the energy through your hands to whatever your subject is. In this case, it's the planet Earth. So,
Cool.
yeah.
Oh, Sally, remember when you were doing Beauty and the Beast? Gaston twisted his ankle, and he was in agony, and this kid really wanted this role. And so I
Mhm.
said, Sally, okay, Sally had just learned Reiki, and she goes, I don't feel anything. I don't care. Just put your hands on top of mine. We put our hands on this kid's ankle, and he was just blown away.
Yeah.
And
And
he
his ankle
he
healed
was,
really quickly too.
yeah,
He
and
said it
he
was
was
hot.
fine. He did
I
his,
could even
it
feel
was
the heat
very,
going through.
yeah, right. But I could feel Sally's energy going through my hands. She couldn't feel anything, but I could. And Gaston, I forget what his real name was, but he's like, oh my God, I'm on fire. I said, just don't move. Just chill.
Just sit there.
Um,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
he
and
was like,
his ankle healed very quickly, very, very quickly.
yep.
I think it was
So
just
he
a
did,
severe
because
sprain. He hadn't broken
yeah,
anything,
yeah,
but
no, he hadn't broken anything. But
yeah.
you know, he had a lot of dancing to do in Beauty and the
Mhm.
Beast. So, and he was afraid he would be taken out of his role. And I mean, this is a leading role, and you know, we got to keep our
He's
leading
a
role.
senior. Yeah, you gotta.
Yeah, he was a senior. This was his last chance to get a leading role, but he did a wonderful job. And he's like telling all the other kids, "You should see what they did to me. Oh my God, I can walk on it again." It was funny.
So
Yeah.
life is definitely life is energy. We are all energy, and whether we're consciously directing it or not, we are. We are energy, and so if we have a lot of negative thoughts, they go out. If we have a lot of positive thoughts, they go out. And what we send out often comes back. This
Right.
week, if thoughts could kill, I should be dead. I said something to Bobby. She turned around, looked at me, and that look would kill anything, right? and then and then later, yesterday, I said something she misinterpreted, and she started to give that negative appearance, right? But then she got it meant something positive, not negative, what I said, and she smiled in an instant. So we change in an instant, right? And we're all throwing out positive and negative energy all the time. But I think from my experiences, the that our souls are like crystals, and the clearer our crystal is, the better off we are. And so that if somebody's attempting to deliberately send negative energy to us, then we have this innate protection. And the innate protection is called love. And so when we're in a consciousness of love, there's nothing negative that can penetrate it. It's the all encompassing aspect of God that never changes.
Yeah, nicely put, Charlie.
Yeah, thank you,
Thank
Charlie.
you.
Yeah, I like that. Nicely put.
Hmm. And
You know, the
as you,
Ernest Holmes was a wonderful spiritual teacher for me. And one of the things he taught was transcendence and immanence. And by immanence, he means you're in the world and you're present in the world, but you're not of it. But it takes transcendence to come to the realization of our spiritual nature. And somebody was asking, well, how does that work? I said, let's say you have an enemy, somebody you disliked for years, and then you finally found in your heart forgiveness. And that compassion returned you to a transcendent moment where the pair of opposites are no longer there. There's no self and other, there's just one. And so that's the power of transcendence, and that's the power of love.
And that's the power of love.
Yeah, we need music.
That song just popped right in.
excuse me.
Speaking of music, we talked about maybe hearing a singing bowl as our exit today. Is that a possibility, Laura?
Plug this in. It's right
Get your special
here.
mic working there.
Yeah, it's right here.
Hey.
Just have to plug it in. I forgot about that. Sorry about that.
While she's doing that, anybody have any ideas for next week? I will not be here. I am guest medium at the Spiritualist Church.
Aha.
Ha. Mm. Don't everybody talk at once.
Next week.
Well, I had thought when you mentioned Reiki that like self-love could be something that could go along with that as well as like a topic, because I think even when we appreciate ourselves and our gifts, that sometimes all of us have moments where we could benefit from generating more self-love.
Good idea. You want to take that? Oh, do we need to mute ourselves?
No?
No.
I think we do.
I think so.
That was beautiful. Thank you.
That was amazing.
Cool.
Beautiful evening prayer.
Mhm.
Yep.
And so it is.
And so it is. Thank you, everybody.
Have a blessed week.
Have a wonderful week.